welcome to the live stream for Kirstie Kraus, who is a country singer. She's from Nashville. She's thirsty for love and magic, for joy and sunshine. She's thirsty for compassion and authenticity. And more than anything, she's thirsty for anything that sets her soul on fire. Well, I know that they don't wear cowboy hats in Nashville, but I want to wear the red cowboy hat and the Santa Claus hat. And I don't think anybody's going to like it. And it also has our Canadian Tim Hortons advertisement. So I'm trying to think, what should I wear? Okay, so now that I know there's no cowboy hats worn in Nashville, because I read up on it, I will wear the Santa Claus hat. So here we go. We have a little bit of video intro here for you. So let's play that.
Been feeling down and not as strong, so I put my hair up high. A special fit for a day like this. All you gotta do is add some shine. A little dab of Dolly is good for everyone. When this world's waiting on me, I put her records on. Turn up the queen of country, yeah, she gets me in every song. Little dab of Dolly is good for everyone. Don't get too busy in a 9 to 5, that you forget to make a life. Dark clouds will come, but soon they'll be gone, leaving a rainbow on the other side. A little dab of Dolly is good for everyone. When this world's waiting on me, I put her records on. Turn up the queen of country, yeah, she gets me in every song. Little dab of Dolly is good for everyone. She sings with some rock and roll. They're on a big statue on the corner of Music Road. No matter where you come from, when you're feeling mixed up and wrong, she has a way of helping us all get along. Little dab of Dolly is good for everyone. And this world's waiting on me, I put her records on. Turn up the queen of country, yeah, she gets me in every song. Little dab of Dolly is good for everyone. All sparks, sass, and plastic, but she's real where it counts. Little dab of Dolly is good for everyone. Little dab of Dolly, 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 little dab of Dolly. Good morning.
Hello. It is morning there, isn't it?
It is. It's I had a Christmas party last night and a makeup malfunction this morning. That was funny. But a Christmas party last night, and it just gets me all in the feels, and your outfit gets me all in the feels. This is great.
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. When I first started, I had it like this with my cowboy hat, and I had my Santa Claus hat on top. And
I love that.
That's the most... You like it?
I do. I do.
I don't know
like
if my
that a
audience
lot.
would like it, but you like it, I'll keep it on.
I do like it. I have been nonstop listening to Christmas music and trying to do Christmas activities since this month started. So I'm all about it.
Yeah, me too. I apologize for starting without you, and I had to go into a little solo routine, and I kind of think, well, that's, you know.
You're
But
good.
usually I like to get right into the program because the guest is already there waiting. But
Perfect.
I was sort of late this morning too, so it's so good to see you. Welcome to the onstage platform. I'm
Thank
really
you.
so happy that you're here, and I bet you your fans are excited that you are here too. So
Yay.
tell me more about Nashville. I had to read about Nashville before I realized I thought they wore uh, cowboy hats down there, and they don't, unless you're going to some sort of saloon festival. And
It definitely seems like the Broadway area when people come to visit. It's like
yeah,
they put on their Western costumes. They buy the boots because there's this amazing deal down on Broadway for a 3-for-1. So you pay for one boot and then you get two free. So a lot of people that come in groups are like, we're gonna get our cowboy boots, and cowboy boots down there will run like $400. So it's a pretty good deal for three boots. And yeah, people just get into the spirit of it. Of course, we have your standard cowboys that come from Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Texas, and wearing big belts and boots and cowboy hats is their thing. So you definitely see that a lot, but not quite around everywhere in Nashville. But Nashville, as you asked, tell you a little bit about Nashville. It has this amazing kind of just energy and buzz all the time because it's a big city and lots of people are going after their dreams. And so, very different from LA. We are more of a community that lifts each other up and definitely go out and support each other at rounds and hang out and talk and yeah, people cheers together. I don't drink, but I cheers with my water. And it's really fun.
yeah, I'm so happy that you would say that because I was reading up on Nashville, as I told you, and apparently you have to leave the Stetson at home unless you're going to the Wild Horse Saloon. And also, there's parts about East Nashville which have bad rumor, but they say no, it's not really true. And some of the shows you see, like that show Nashville, I
Yes.
mean, how true is that?
Unfortunately, it is, from what I've gathered and just things that I've seen, it is very true. Like, you think that the city is big, but the people that are actually in the industry, you know, at at that level, they all know each other. They've known each other for 25, 30 years in the industry. So, and with any relationship, when you've known somebody that long, I feel like it's a give and take kind of thing. There's bound to be a moment where you upset each other, but I definitely think they took it and exaggerated it to a couple levels, but I wouldn't put it past some people.
Yeah. And something about don't try to speak their language because there is no language. And also, I've heard like a y'all and how you're all. And they say, well, you don't really say that in the country, basically, especially Nashville.
I think right. I mean, people do say y'all. People say y'all pretty much every sentence, I feel like. And if you talk about Dolly, you're in. But other than that, like as far as lingo goes, it's more just like embrace the culture of the friendliness and your waiter comes over and you guys are gonna have a little chit chat and laugh about something and just be in like embracing kind of the slower paced culture. Yeah.
Do you like sweet tea? Have you gone to the Loveless Cafe?
Oh yeah, I actually just went there. I took my friend was visiting Nashville, so I was like, okay, this is her first time ever. I have to take her to this staple place because it literally feels like you're in your friend's grandma's kitchen kind of feel. And we got a bunch of biscuits, and I had her try some sweet tea. But I don't order sweet tea all the time. As a singer, sugar is like an inflammatory, so you can feel it on your vocal cords. So if you drink sweet tea all the time, that will add up for sure.
And don't eat pizza before you sing because I noted that I would say, should I sing or should I eat a pizza? No, I'll have dinner first. I order a pizza, I'll eat it. And then suddenly you have this vibrato that is this terrible, like,
Uh,
phlegm type.
yeah.
And I'm like, ah. So basically, I've learned from other musicians as well that you don't eat or drink anything that's going to cause phlegm. Maybe lemon tea, maybe lemon
Yeah.
water, something to clear your throat and opens up the vocals. I've learned, like, okay, I'm having pizza and then you get this phlegm. So, ha, ha. I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like the fact that when you sing, like it's not like it comes out of our finger, it comes out right here. So everything we eat and drink it affects our voice, and we really I think Carrie Underwood said it best in an interview one time. She keeps it very strict, but it's paid off, and right before a performance, do not eat any dairy. That would be the worst, but I think every singer can tell you they love ice cream, but ice cream is just after the performance. Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the ice cream. Don't eat the ice cream. But I know that there's only one, like, I know I heard that there's not all country singers are born in Nashville. I think maybe I heard that one or two of them were. What do you think of that?
okay, so there's a term called the unicorn, and it's so rare for somebody to be from Nashville, lived in Nashville their whole lives, and we call them unicorns here. And that is just, I feel like it's few and far between, and it's always like, oh, you're from here? Like, wow, like yeah, but there are people I feel like that are from here, and I guess most of the people, if you just want to put those in a group, most of the percentage of those people are have somebody in the music industry already, or their family, like they were born here, and they had a reason to be here. So it is very far and few between.
Yeah. Um, well, I mean, it's. I understand what you're talking about, but it's kind of like it fails me sometimes when I'm thinking that, okay, any country singers from places like Nashville or places wherever, and you think you're going to wear a cowboy hat. I know that I know someone who went to Dallas, Texas, and he said everyone there wears a cowboy hat. So
I mean, they it's not really as much anymore like it used to be. I really feel like the city has changed a lot. There's a lot of people, I'm sure you've read, that have come in from California now and come in from everywhere. A couple of years ago, Nashville was like dubbed the biggest booming city, and at one point there was 150 people moving here a day, and that was shortly after I moved here. So I was like, oh, I got here, a little bit before that. But so it's a melting pot more. The city has changed. However, the first time I came to Nashville, I was 11 years old, and at that time it had more of the cowboy hats. It had more of every single venue. There was a songwriter artist in the corner playing their three songs, even though there was maybe nobody there. And then there was somebody on deck to get up to do another, their three songs. And no matter where you went, this happened all day, every day from 10 to 2. Now it's normally just that Broadway section. So it's really become that like bachelorette kind of area where people go all day long to listen to the honky tonk music. Good morning.
um, Stephen McCreary says, "Good morning, Kirstie. Great interview."
Thank you. Good morning, Stephen.
And I showed you this. Lori Krause says, "So fun to listen to this. Great job, guys. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much." Yes, I want to talk about how you perform your songs. You're mentioning others will just play, even if there's nobody there. So before you do a performance and your group, your band have to get together and start playing, how many times do you play the same track playlist over and over again that when you actually play in front of a group of people that you're like sick of it already?
Well, okay, so there's a thing that happens on the performance end. You can practice till you're blue in the face, but there's just this like weird, I feel like magic that happens when you get on stage, and you're either gonna lock in or you're not. Like and my music is kind of its own flavor. So you're either gonna get how to play it or you don't. And I've been lucky where I've chosen people that have nailed it on nailed it on stage, and it's been really fun. I am a proponent. I'm all about putting myself on the spot live. So oftentimes the different artists that I choose to tour with, we won't practice before, or I've done it where we've practiced on the phone and we've showed up and met each other that day and we did a 2 hour show together. Like I've done all spectrums. So then I'm gonna flip it around and I'll say we'll get together with a band, like hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm gonna be playing Whiskey Jam coming up, and I in my mind I'm already subconsciously putting the perfect band together, the guys that I
Wow.
want, the songs that might fit, for everybody to nail, um, and just starting to piece that together in my head. And then we'll get together and do a rehearsal, and we'll run the song until everybody feels comfortable. But generally, it'll be like 3 times we'll run the song, and
That's
then I'll
very
be
interesting.
like, "Hey, cool." After the first time, I'll be like, "Okay, cool." In the bridge, remember that, like little things, and I'll tweak a couple little things, and then we'll add it, and then we'll do one more for good measure.
So you already have in your head the songs you want to be playing, or is it suddenly like, guys, I know we on the phone we had practiced a song, but I want to change it to this one. Do you do that often as well?
So I can't do that if I have a band as much. Like the more people involved on stage, the less I can do that. Obviously, when I was in the Midwest and I had my own band and we performed every weekend and we were called Thirsty Jones, I switched it up on them, the order, or maybe let's try this. But the more people involved, the more you have to keep it to a plan. But when I'm on a writer's round, I don't know what I'm gonna play until I hear a minute of the person in front of me and what they're playing and their vibe and how it sounds. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do this song. It kind of dictates what I decide to play then too.
That's very interesting. You should say that. So, what about cover songs? Like, you ever thought of, like, there's a song, I believe it's, I wish I knew, Before You Cheat, I think that's the name, or
Uh huh.
Jesus Takes the Wheel. Like, how long does it take you to learn a cover song, for instance?
So not that long. I mean, if I listen to country music all the time, Carrie Underwood's, a big one in country music. So I've heard those songs. I've heard the songs a lot. So I think subconsciously I'm listening and learning the song. Because a lot of times when I first perform a song, I maybe have never sang it out loud, but I've heard it enough that I can just whip it out on stage. Like, for instance, when you were saying that question, it brought me back to a November 26th. We were at a place in around Chicago, Rockford, Illinois, and people were requesting a Lainey Wilson song, Ashley McBride song, Sugarland song, Baby Girl, and those three, like I had never sang them, but I was like, maybe. I mean, I've heard it enough. Maybe I could do it, and we just tried it on the spot, and it was fun. I mean, it was like it worked.
I don't understand what you mean that you practice on the phone. What do you mean you practice on the phone? In what way? Like FaceTime or Zoom or?
Yeah, I've done FaceTime. In that particular one, I was driving, so I was on my way to a different show, and we got on the phone, and I was just we were talking about keys. I was like, hey, I want to do this song, Neon Moon, but that's capo 4. We need to do it in this key. I generally take a solo here, then you can solo for a couple times, like talking through the details instead of being able to be together to play it. And it's just, and then we talked about the order of the set and we made the set list, and it's like, okay, now I need like an up tempo song from you right now because I just played one, or we need that pocket. Like, I am very much all about the energy on stage. So there's kind of like a whole energy flow that I like to do on stage. So we just talked through the set, and maybe we even sang a little bit, like just on the phone. I think he was on speaker, and I was like singing, he was playing, and he's like, okay, cool. Because I was like, actually, it's more of like do like a little more of an island vibe, or stuff like that. And they're like, no, I need you to do like a four on the floor kind of strumming for this, or yeah.
That's awesome. I really like that, Kirstie. Before we begin, okay, everyone, just hit the subscribe button for more content. Also, all the links are in the description below. And if you have a question for Kirstie to answer during the Q&A, they will be saved and they will be given later. We have a few who have sent us some questions here, but put a Q and then ask the question. But someone here named Steve wants to know about how are you coming with your new music in Florida's?
Good. Florida's is one of my babies, and I did. There's so much that happens in a week, Stephen, but I am looking for the perfect producer for this song, and I that is something I really want to get in the studio and record. There's probably four, five, six, seven songs I need to do on vocals before that song, but this is on my list. I'm pointing wrong. But I love Florida's. It's so much fun. And I also just heard a recent fun song that was called it's like a Key West kind of song, and that diverged me a little bit because I was like, oh, I want to do, like, I need to look into this. Like, I need to look into this song, and I got the permissions to record it. So, always looking for the best songs.
Well, Kirstie, I got to tell you, I had your songs looping over and over again before the podcast, and I think I can sing every one of those songs
Good. That's awesome.
over and
That
over
means they're
again.
catchy, right?
Yeah. And I made a little video to show people of just of some of your fantastic songs there. And one I like is Bird, and Gotta Go is a great one where you actually doing like custodial work and then you start singing.
Yeah. Yeah, Gotta Do is a fun video. I had this, like, that custodial outfit is actually in my closet still from high school in show choir. We did like the car wash song, and I had my name's like embroidered on it. So it's just one of those things I'll never get rid of, and it was cool to be able to incorporate that in my music video for that song. It was special to me.
Well, where do you get those beautiful outfits from?
Yeah, so that was one of the outfits where I, randomly came from show choir, and this this outfit here I couldn't actually tell you. I feel like it was from Plato's Closet. The dress I wore last night for the Christmas party was from Costa Rica. I was just in Costa Rica, and they had a very similar, like, Plato's Closet type of store. And so I was able to get a very elegant, beautiful dress on a budget, which is great. And believe it or not, a lot of people, I don't want to say the word donate, but they give me clothes. It's like they know that I'm always have stuff where I need to be wearing outfits, and so thankful to my sister and her friends as well that will sometimes send me clothes.
Do you ever change your outfit before show when you decide, I don't think I'll wear this, I'm going to rush and wear something different? Do you ever do that? Or is it something, well, this is what I'm going to wear for the set. We're going to do it, guys. That's it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've been a girl for so long, and like that sounds like such a funny sentence, but I got my routine down as far as getting ready, and getting ready fast, because my schedule is very limited on, like, personal time, and on, so sometimes just taking a second to eat like a big deal. But so I've pretty much learned how to, like, put on my makeup, think about what I'm gonna wear when I'm brushing my teeth, or in the shower. Like, I'm subconsciously thinking, and I am very into uh, fashion and wearing stuff that makes me feel good and also that's like perfect for the occasion. So I just like doing that. It makes me very happy. So I kind of know, but at this point I'm on the road so much. I pretty much have my packing down, and I take so many pictures on social media. Here's a trick that I use, girls out there, other artists. Um, I look at old pictures on my Google Photos of what I wore last year, and I'm like, okay, what did I wear last year in Florida in November? And I'll look at old pictures, and that will kind of get me started to think about like maybe I pack those same outfits, maybe I pack something similar, and that really helps me a lot. Is because I'm such a visual person.
So those outfits that you're not going to wear, do you give them out to donate them to people who need them, or do you have like do you have a closet that's as big as my apartment and a closet that's got 1,000 shoes in there?
I don't know, not quite like that. It's not. I've just accumulated stuff over the years, but and my mom would say I definitely have to get rid of stuff. But yeah, I when I do get rid of stuff, I take it over to Goodwill. That's my go-to.
Yeah, Lori Krause, I suppose, is a relation. You can always whip together the perfect outfit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so what makes you so passionate as a musician? Like you said that when you were 11, you showed up in Nashville, but you like were you born with a microphone in your hand, or did you decide, okay, I want to be a musician?
So I never, it was never a decision. It was something I did as a human. Like I was pretty much born with a microphone in my hand. Like you said, at 4 years old, I was carrying around those little cassette tape things that with microphones you can push record. And I was singing sometimes and hosting. I would go, hello folks, and I have tapes of this and of me going up to my aunt and interviewing her about the holiday food that we're having at grandma's house or whatever. I mean, I was 4 years old, so it just always was a thing. And then by the time I was six, I declared on a piece of paper, and in school, they're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I just put an Singr. So I couldn't spell quite right then, but I meant to say singer.
That's very interesting. I remember when I was a kid, my brother and I would sing. Um, we put well in those days with vinyl albums, musicals, and we would just perform and sing the songs on whatever musical we were playing, like Jesus Christ Superstar or whatever. Even my Sesame Street album, I would listen to every
Oh,
single song and perform it. But I never thought to myself, well, when I was 11 or 12, thinking maybe I should be a musician. It wasn't until the last maybe 10 years that I wanted to be a musician. Magician. Well, I'm a magician as well, but I'm a
nice.
musician. And yeah, and
That's
actually
really
was a
cool.
mime as well. I did a mime for children's parties back. So,
Oh,
but I want to get back into music. So maybe I'll be like a singing musician, magician, mime.
all
Probably
of it.
triple
You can be all of it. I love that. And there is, based on what you said, it triggered me like to remember my first play that I ever went to watch was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. That was my first
That's
play.
interesting.
Yeah, and my mom said I was sitting on the edge of on the seat, and as a little kid, she couldn't believe I was quiet for that long, and I was on the edge of my seat like this the whole time, and she's like, I just cannot believe that.
That's amazing. I can't tell you what my first concert I went with my mom. But yeah, but I went to see Josh Groban live, and I'm thinking of just taking more vocal lessons because I want to get out there. And because of the pandemic, really has it actually affected opera singers more. they did a lot of music online. Is that what something you might have done? Like during the pandemic, did you do singing online and performing like live streams and concerts? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, great question. It was a weird time. Normally during those months of March, I'm kind of wrapping up the schedule for, uh, booking performances because this is what I do full time. So I'm emailing and I was like, what do I do? I can't email people about booking shows right now. So I immediately, actually, that's how I got introduced to a lot of people overseas and in the UK and Ireland and France and Germany. And now they're playing my music, but that's because I just reached out via email and I was like, hey, I'm an artist in Nashville. Just want to introduce myself. Maybe I can come on your podcast. Maybe we can do a live stream together. And just started, and then I started streaming every Thursday. So some of those are on my YouTube, and we very much on Thursdays, Thirsty Thursdays, we just went on the spot and sang songs on the spot, based on requests. And it was like, whatever happens, happens. Let's go. And that was what Thursday was all about. And so they're just funny. We laughed a lot and just had a good time with it.
that's great.
It
Yeah,
helped me a lot.
yeah. I'll drop my iPhone.
Oh,
It has questions in there too.
I love
Um,
that your tree has an angel at the top.
yeah, I actually named that angel twice in like 3 years, whatever. I always changed the name.
Oh,
So last year it
so
was Lucy, and the year before that it was Kimmy Jane. Now I don't have a name for that. Maybe name, hey, Kirstie the Angel. How about that?
there you go. There you go. And
Yeah.
before I forget, I want to, I have this box like in view, which I didn't know that it was going to be in view. But I am the artist of the month for Beach Buddha Coffee. And I cannot wait to unbox this and try my whatever they put in the box. I know this is going to be coffee for sure. So I'm excited about that.
So you're actually a big coffee drinker, I take it.
I feel like I have to be. I see that in like this week since I've gotten back from Costa Rica, that was just a family vacation. Um, my I've done like three writes and a performance and Christmas parties and meetings, and so I think coffee in my special Opry mug is just
I
what
love
I
it.
need. Yeah, I there's actually it's funny. I specifically bought this so I can have coffee every morning with the greats and just
Nice.
manifest being at the Opry one day and being a part of this family. That's what I like to drink out of my Opry mug in the morning.
I used to watch Grand Prix up Grand. I used to watch that show when I was growing up, and I'm familiar with that and Yeehaw, which was
Yeehaw, yes.
Yeehaw. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah. So, do you play any other instruments besides singing, and what others? What other talents do you have?
Yeah, so I started on the piano when I was 7, and I did lessons till I was 14, and then I actually tested out of my music minor with piano in college. I played the violin. That was like
Nice.
third, fourth, fifth grade, third grade, fourth grade, and that might be it. Like just a couple years. I actually was like really into the violin. I remember, and then I started on the guitar when I was 15, and so that's been a very on and off relationship. And then I've been really focusing on that this year to play every time I perform. So January 22nd, 2022, I made the move to be like, all right, I'm gonna bring the guitar and play every time I perform. And it's been so wonderful to celebrate the little wins. And of course, I had a guitar background, so it was easier to kind of, bring that to the forefront. But it's definitely it's definitely been work and reminding myself, okay, that's where the F sharp is. All right, C sharp minor. That's K. Is that 4? What is that? Like just kind of remembering because in my head my first instrument was piano, so I feel like I picture the piano first, and then I translate that to where it is on the guitar.
Well, Kirstie, you're live, so we have a lot of violinists on our podcast who I've seen. They're going to be wondering, well, they're going to frequent your YouTube channel and say, well, she's not playing any violins. We're going to get her to play violin.
Oh my, oh my. So I'd have to get a violin. I have one that's from, I think it's in the guest bedroom closet, and it's from elementary school. But the bow now, I don't know if you're familiar, but the bow, the horsehair came unattached. So I would have to either get a whole new bow or get that fixed. I think I thought about donating that violin to a producer, just if they wanted to like do plucking or, have that specific violin sound. But we'll see.
I'm thinking of what you said a few minutes ago. You said you have a relationship with the guitar, strings attached, and it's your bow.
Are-
Little instrument humor.
what? Oh yeah, instrument humor.
Instrument humor, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, we'd like to know, you were working on new music the last few days. How is that coming?
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you asked. I feel like I'm going to share some lines with you guys because I'm really, really excited about it. I have three writes in a row, and they were all very incredibly different, actually. Um, one was like a sad breakup kind of song. The next one
Oh,
is like a fun Keith Urban kind of groove. And then the third one is, which I'll share some lyrics from, which is just an exclusive. This is going to be fun. But it's called New Sin City. And I wrote it with Sarah Morey, who has also been killing it in Nashville. I'm very proud of her.
wow.
But it talks about how Nashville has become the new Vegas, right? And so I'll just read a couple. I'll read the chorus, but it's like we might not have Elvis, but we have Dolly. You can see the mother church from a tractor trolley. Traded the city of angels for the city of stars. They just might drop into our downtown bars. They come from all around and put their money down for a drink. Throw a 20. There's a new Sin City.
I love it. Wow.
Yay! Thank you.
Chrissy the rapper.
She was so excited about the song as well. She was like, I can't wait to perform this. And I'm like, that's so great to hear. As a songwriter, that's wonderful to hear. So I told her, send me videos when you do perform it. But it's quite a fun song, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and you already put music to it, I suppose.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's kind of like a swampy, bluesy country. Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
can't wait to perform it as well.
Yeah. Well, we love your music down here. Yeah, really, like since Paul Brandt's days, I think, or Loretta Lynn's days. No, I'm a big Reba McEntire fan.
Oh
And she's got some
yeah.
really good hits. And then I discovered your music and discovered, I don't know if you're familiar with Camber Kane, but she's also another country artist we had
I
on our
am actually
podcast.
familiar with her. I've seen her at the
Yeah,
Josie Music Awards, and a guitar player that I worked with one year and summer knew her from his hometown, and that's kind of how I got introduced to her.
that's awesome. When she was on the podcast some months ago, I was wearing my black cowboy hat.
Oh, you were wearing your black one? Oh, perfect. Perfect.
We can't wear them around here. I have like three Stetsons. So I wear my summer Stetson, or I wear my black fedora, and I don't even own any baseball caps. But I love wearing some hats. Sometimes I'm like, it's winter. This is not the time or the season to wear a hat. So I would wear like earmuffs or something. But usually in the spring and summer, you get me wearing like a fedora or Stetson. I think it's pretty neat. And this red cowboy hat, I hardly wear it, but I thought since we have, Kirstie Kraus on one. I'll just wear that.
I don't know if you know about my hat wall. Are you familiar that I have a hat wall?
No,
Okay.
I
I can share it with you guys. But
looking forward to it. Wow.
this I wanted a hat wall for a very long time.
Look at that.
And this is my hat wall. These are also the kind of the passes when you go to festivals. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's one specific hat because you are talking about hats so much that I can show
nice
you.
place.
It's a little behind the scenes of the living
Yeah,
room with the Christmas stuff.
there you go. Same as mine.
Yeah, so this one I think will work perfectly with yours, but right here. This is a 1940s Rockmount vintage cowboy hat. So, like you were saying, the queens of country, Loretta
Yeah.
Lynn, Dolly back in the day would have worn this exact type of style with it high right here. And there's actually it's a gold band with some red
Wow.
gems. And yeah, I actually got this from a my previous clothing sponsor, Cowboy Outlets, and they help a lot of the Western stores around the country move and shift their inventory. And so this is how I got my hands on this hat, and I was like, and it was between this red or a purple one, and I was like, I need the red hats. I need the red hat so bad. So yeah,
A purple one. Wow.
this
Well, there you
goes
go. That
with.
looks good on you.
Uh,
So we'll continue this wearing our hats. How about that?
oh my,
I love it.
yes.
Um, what's wrong with this thing? I have all
See
these.
how tall they are?
Yeah.
Like it's such a it's such a thing. I can't fit in the frame. That's so funny. There.
Well, it looks great on you. And another thing is, I got our coffee shop. You've been talking about Loveless Cafe. We have something in Canada called Tim Hortons Coffee, and
Oh, that's
you
what that
were
is.
able to get cowboy hats, red cowboy hats with Tim Hortons on the front. So if Tim Hortons doesn't contact me and I use them as a sponsor, then I will never wear this again. No, just kidding. But
That's
Tim
funny.
Hortons sponsor anybody? Tim
Hello.
Hortons.
I love
But you look
that.
good in that, yeah. But that's not real gold, is it?
No, it's just a band like they don't really do this style anymore or like use that kind of material. It's almost like a I don't even know how to describe it, like a laminate kind of material. And to have that decoration on it and that sparkle. And I know that they don't use it in clothing these days anymore. So it's really interesting and it was meaningful to me to be able to pick up and have. And so yeah, you talk about hats so much I felt like I had to show you my hat wall.
I love your hat. Well, I'm thinking of doing one too because I got a closet and I put all my fedoras and all my hats in it. And I do a lot of acting online. And if the acting has something to do with a hat, then I'll wear a hat. But otherwise, I got this nice hat down in Toronto. Well, I'm in Toronto, so. Uh,
Awesome.
and I got a really nice hat here. The one that I used to have a couple of years ago, I went to um, driving to New Brunswick with a friend of mine to visit somebody in Cape Breton, which is off Nova Scotia. And you had to stay at a hotel. So in my room, I left my hat. So my hat is somewhere across.
Oh,
And then I didn't have a hat for years, and I bought this one in Toronto last summer. And I'm like, yay, got a new hat.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah. But I had
And
no idea you had a red hat, so this is interesting. But
I
I
know.
did see a picture of you, and I posted a photo of you actually wearing the brown hat you had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I
I
like that one too. Oh, yeah, here. That one too. See that one?
a
Oh, wait.
little almost. I think it's the brown hat you're referring to.
That
Oh
one.
yeah, that's the black hat. That was my hat that I used to wear all the time, even before I moved to Nashville and before I switched. Thank you. And
I love your hats too, Kirstie. I love that hat wall. Thanks, Stephen. That was an excellent comment. Um,
Yeah. I
so we're
always
talking
wanted one.
about,
I always
yeah.
wanted a hat wall, so I was like, I'm gonna do it.
So you have a hat wall. I don't know anybody else that has a hat wall. I know they have a shoe rack, but not a hat wall.
I don't know if I do either. It was just literally something I was like, I think it would be so cool. It would definitely like just my style of if you call that decorating, I don't know. Like, and then I also, when I walked over there, if you guys want to watch back later, I have the clock over my dining room table from Breed Love. And I've been sharing that clock is kind of on my Instagram as well under the Breed Love highlight reel. But there's a clock with my face on it. It's so crazy.
Oh, I was thinking that clock you showed when you went to show us your hat wall. There's a clock there, black clock. That's
Yeah,
not.
and it's like a little guitar clock. And
Oh, neat.
one of the music stores, the girl, her name is Ashley Taylor, another artist here in Nashville. She works part time at the music store, and she got this delivery from Breedlove and recognized me. And she's like, "Look at this! Like we got all this promo stuff, and your face is on it." And I was like, "Wait a second, can I have that clock?" And so that's now I was able to go across town and pick up the clock at the music store, which is so weird.
I know back in the clock, but back in time with Starbucks, they actually had a playlist. Like they would have Loretta Lynn's favorite playlist, and then you would buy these songs to listen to Loretta Lynn's playlist or Reba McEntire's playlist, whatever. If you had a playlist, well, everyone has a prayer list. If you had a playlist, would it include any of your own songs?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I still have like the Yes You Can album, which is sitting right here. It it's still in my car. It's CD number one. And when I need a pick me up and I just want to jam out, I put that CD on. Like no shame. I am 100% proud of that project, and it makes me proud to listen to it and to still feel good when I jam out about it. I mean, we definitely took our time with the record, and that was the goal to be able to feel proud and love to jam it throughout the years and have it be always something that I'm proud of. So yeah, I definitely would put my own music on that.
That's funny. I know I had some friends stay over the weekend, her and her husband from New York City, actually, and we're all singers. And we did a few duets together. And they had to pick me up at my current workplace, which is like an hour from here. And throughout the whole time she was driving me, and I know that if I don't say this, she's going to get angry with me because I didn't mention it. But she was playing our music in the car, her and I, our duets, right through to, I'm like, okay. I kind of felt like listening to myself sing. I mean, she's fine, she's great, but listening to myself sing, I'm thinking, can you turn this off? But
Uh,
I said, you know what? She loves it so much. She's probably the only one that likes my music. What about you? When you listen to your own CD, does you ever get a chance when you just don't want to listen to it anymore?
Um, no, but I oftentimes like I'm consuming music so much. Spotify actually notified me this year for the end wrap up that I listen to music 99% more than the average human. So I I consume music all day long. Of course, there are times where I am in silence and just in my thoughts, like just writing my thoughts out, meditating, So there are times where music needs to be off, like in the car if I'm preparing to go into a meeting or, just getting ready for what I'm going to. A lot of times I won't be listening to any music at all.
Yeah, that's the same with me. Even the Christmas music I listen to. Um, and you're familiar with the Waitress's song, Christmas Wrapping? They play it
Mm-mm.
all the time in Walmart. I love the song. Nobody else loves it. And I have it part of my playlist, Spotify playlist. But you're right. There's sometimes like I'm in the middle of an Imagine Dragons song, and I just turn the music off because I need silence at the moment.
Yeah.
And other times I listen to my whole Spotify playlist for an hour, 2 hours. But music is excellent. I want to talk about your album. Yes, you can.
Yay.
Stephen loves all the songs, and I think they're fantastic as well. Thank you,
Thank
Stephen. Me as
you.
well.
Thank you.
And can you tell us how that what came together?
Yeah. So a lot of the decisions, oh my gosh, there's so many decisions that go into putting a record together. And all of the decisions really was me trusting my gut. And we spent at least 2.5 months just demoing out the songs, like kind of getting the vibe of the songs, putting different instruments with it, trying guitar parts, like, okay, that sounds good. And I spent 2.5 years, 3 years, just like putting the record together and making sure that this was exactly my sound. It definitely it has a rock element to it, a little bit of blues, a little bit of soul in the bass with country top line. So that's kind of like the mixture of what we put together. But everything that we did for this record was individual. For like we brought the bass in individually. We did the guitar individually and like 4 songs at a time, and so that's not normal all the time for Nashville when you go like as an artist at my level. Most of the time, you go into a studio and the band plays live all together, and then you kind of make some tweaks from there. But we actually slowed the process down and brought in everybody individually to really get the parts that we wanted. So it's just every single, I will say this, like with the bass and different add ons that we did, every single speaker that you listen to it, whether it's in your headphones or in your car or on big speakers, you'll hear something different every time. And that's what I say in the liner notes of the record. It's just, I encourage you to listen on all kinds of speakers as you will hear something new on each player. And that's like what it says right in there because it's just so much fun.
I love it. Same with Stephen. I stand with him as well. Yes, you can. Being nominated for the Album of the Year and
I,
Women of Country. My votes
I
are all for you to win, and me too as well. So you got
thank
two
you.
votes.
Thank you. Stephen has been an absolute 100% champion of mine this year to have this music be nominated uh, and be nominated for single of the year and album of the year was such an honor because I do feel like I put out my own sound and my own project. And to have that be recognized on that level with the Women of Country was just a true blessing. So we did get the results for single of the year, and Danielle Bradbury won. And then Your Girl, my song Better, was number 2, which was really awesome. And now we're just waiting to hear for results for album of the year for the best of Women of Country 2022. So fingers crossed. And I know Stephen was a huge part of putting his votes in every day. So thank you. I love that so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. I agree with you. I want to talk about your music, Thirsty.
Awesome.
Um, it's the way the lyrics are genius. I do agree with Stephen. It tells the story, the video tells the rest of the story. Can you explain how that came to be?
So Thirsty was really, that song was based on a conversation, and it was actually gifted to me by my producer based on what conversations that we've had. And the song is really about vulnerability and being like so scared to open up and be, at that level of openness with someone that you are in a relationship with. And that's just something that I have always struggled with, is just to trust people enough to bring them that close. And so the song is kind of like, I want to push you away, but I also just want you to like hold my hand right now. And, and when we put the music video together, that brought that whole sentiment to another level because talk about when you lose somebody, like here you opened up and then you lost somebody and getting over that and then trying to like ultimately move on and get engaged to somebody else and open up again and not be afraid to open up again. So it took the whole concept into a whole nother level, and it's made me cry. The video has made a lot of people cry, and I think that's what we were going for, So crying can be a good thing sometimes.
If a song and music does make you cry, then maybe there's something wrong with the lyrics. Or, but also I believe that all songs are written for the because of you lost somebody or bad relationship or broken up relationship. For instance, Dan Reynolds of Imagine Dragons wrote "Wrecked" after his sister-in-law passed away, so he wrote a song
Oh,
for her, and the video really makes you cry because he's on the beach and he's thinking of her, and an image of her shows up like a ghost, but she's not really there. So it's sort of like hits you right here. A lot of your songs are really, really great. Um, what do you think makes a country song? Like, what about that? You ever hear country songs that have that twang in there?
yeah.
Twang, twang. Like, do you think that makes a country song, that twang?
I definitely think the way that someone's voice sounds. I grew up listening to, the greats, Leanne Rimes, Martina Bride, Faith Hill, Jody Messina were like the tops for me. Those were my women. Like those were the ones that I really looked to, and their sass, but the way that they kind of curl notes, and also what makes a country song in the guitar lick is like down, 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 like you're bending the note on the guitar. That definitely helps make it feel like country, but country is derived from everything from gospel and blues, so that's kind of where it came from, and yeah.
You should do what Tom Thumb does, and he performs every bit of the instruments with his mouth. So
What?
literally, he can do any instrument. Look him up, Tom Thumb. He's
Okay.
amazing. So he can do like a violin, he can do a guitar, he can do a trumpet, he can do everything just with his mouth.
Huh.
I can't remember what they're called. There's a name for them, but yeah, check him out. He's really good. And when you did that brown 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 with your mouth, thinking, hey, what? Yeah. So yeah, if you don't have a bass player, anybody with a guitar, and they call in sick, you can just, you know what, I'll do it. Bang, 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 bang. People will be going, there's something wrong with Kirstie.
Bum, 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 bum.
Oh my gosh. So
Woo.
there you go. So you're in
You recognize?
Toronto. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm actually from Wisconsin. So not that I don't know how much it would be if I got how much of a drive that would be if I got my car, but yeah, I say you guys, I say yeah sometimes when I'm with my grandma after a couple days. So I'm practically a Canadian. We always joke about that.
Well, I have friends in Houston, Texas, so I know it's like if I just start driving and don't stop, it's a 14-hour drive.
Oh,
So I
there you
don't
go.
know how long
Whoa.
Wisconsin is from here because I'm not really familiar with anything other than people I know in New York City and Massachusetts and Connecticut. But what I've learned from this podcast is you meet a whole lot of musicians and you eventually become friends with them. You actually, I had people email me saying that they loved all the episodes they've seen and they've learned a lot themselves. Even if they're not musicians, they've learned a lot because guitar players and drummers um, and singers, like they all have something to contribute, even to people who aren't musically inclined and don't are tone deaf. It's called a musia. If you want to know what the medical term is, called musia. And even though people with tone deaf can be taught how to sing, because I know one woman who she was terrible. She couldn't hold a note, and then she took like 3 years vocal lessons, and now she's like an opera star.
That's
I was like blown
amazing.
away.
Yeah, opera is like
So
quite the other end of the spectrum.
yeah,
That's amazing.
I do a lot of opera because I'm tenor, but I also like cover songs. I did anywhere from Billy Joel to Imagine Dragons and a lot of country. My favorite one is Tim McGraw's "Live Like You Were Dying." That's my favorite song. I
Oh,
love
I love that song too.
I love I love Tim McGraw. He's a really good singer, and Rip McEntire as well. But now I have someone new to listen to.
Yes, and Tim McGraw, he does a lot of for the ears that don't pay really in-depth attention, his music is wonderful. But then as on a musician side that go in and pay really close attention to what he's doing with his voice, he's actually doing a lot of hard extra movements with his voice. And Tim McGraw is absolutely fantastic. He's my top five for sure. And when I got to see him live for the first time, I actually cried because I was so excited to see Tim McGraw. So I share that love for Tim 100%.
Yeah, um, exactly. Now I'm thinking of your songs are so the lyrics just so emotional and so they make you think about if I was in a relationship and I broke off with her or she died, whatever. Kirstie's song would be the one that I would probably play. But
I
I want to
hope
ask you
so.
about term and overall composition. What is your favorite song and why?
I never know how to answer. I'm such like a in the moment and what I'm feeling kind of song. Sometimes I want to jam out to and just play on the guitar if it were worse. I guess as I'm answering, I feel like my favorite song um, would to perform would have to be Bird, only because it feels so good every time I play it, and no matter what situation I'm in, I feel like it applies and just lets me get those feelings off my chest through the song. And really, all the songs that are on this record was it's a piece of my soul. It's a way to write them and put them out there as stuff I needed to hear, and I'm in hopeful that other people need to hear that or go to those songs because they need to hear those lyrics and they need to feel motivated or whatever. So this is, my version of stuff I needed to hear, stuff I was going through. So it really depends on the moment. Like you were saying, I'm in this space, so I'm going to go listen to Thirsty.
Yeah, exactly. Like there are songs for everything. I mean, you lose a job, you get a job, um, you have that relationship, or even you drop that relationship, or whatever happens. There's always a song for it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to writing the lyrics, you have to make sure that well, in rapping, they call it lyrical poetry. So I guess in this way, all music is lyrical poetry, whether it's rap or whatever. But how do you decide, especially for "Thirsty" or "Bird" or any of the other songs? How do you know that that instrument belongs in that song, but you're not going to put that instrument in this song? How do you know?
I'm trying to figure out how to describe that. A lot of times when I am writing the song, like when I brought the hook, a new Sin City to the table, I knew that song, like I knew what the hook was going to sound like. I knew how to sing it. So it's almost like it kind of comes in from a godly space and it just comes through you. And I'm hearing him, in the writer's room singing the hook. And I'm like, this song definitely is calling to be this like swampy, bluesy, like, and I'm singing it. So a lot of times lyrics and melody come to me together. And then to answer your question, I'm hearing when I'm writing a song, I'm hearing the production. So like sometimes I'll be like, oh, okay, this melody is so cool, and this song reminds me of Keith Urban's this song. And it reminds me of Lady Antebellum's, you know, drum parts of this song. So put piecing all of that together in my head, like when it's in my head and I'm trying to relay the message of like what the song should sound like to somebody else, I often use references and vibes and maybe create a playlist of 12 songs, and I can get as specific as saying the type of vocal production here, the drums here, the bass, the how it's like really movie and happy, that needs to be in this. And for instance, I don't mean to like, I'm just very passionate about this, but this song number 6 called What Love Does, we were in the studio and I was like, you know what, this song needs a marimba. And he goes, a what? Are you serious? Now you're just throwing out instruments. You're just throwing out instruments. And I was like, no, I'm serious. Like, I need that. I need that sound on this thing. So if you go back and listen to number 6, What Love Does on the record, you can hear the marimba in like the intro and a little bit in the, and it just makes it feel like it's floating, like you're on cloud 9, you know? And it just, I couldn't explain to you how I hear it. I just knew that that's what I needed to create a feeling.
But you may have that feeling, but nobody else. Isn't it that you have to write so that the emotion is the other person feels that emotion, not yourself?
Absolutely. I think painters, let's take painters for example. I think they use certain colors and certain brushstrokes um, that they know for technicality will make someone feel, you know, something, or even the subject matter that they do. So similar to how they approach that, I look at all of the tools in front of me and know that an offbeat here will make someone feel like a big shift. And this, you know, so there's certain things that you can do in production that specifically will make people feel things. And we often put these kind of things in songs when we're writing them as well. If we want a very comforting song, you stick to a certain beats and you keep the lyrics on the beats, and you definitely don't try to do a rapping. You more like give the lyrics space. And so there's different things that you can do to make to give people invoke feelings.
I really believe that. That was awesome answer. I really believe in that. We had a couple of rappers on a month ago, and they said that one of their songs, somebody, a friend of theirs, who needed to hear that because they were going to end their life, whatever, listened to their song, and it saved them. Would you consider that most of your music, a lot of your music? Have you ever gotten feedback that that song, 30 whatever, or Gotta Do, really helped me through a bad time? Do you ever get that?
So I haven't quite released music that would help somebody through a time like that, but I have gotten a lot of messages of people that have said that my music has empowered them to go after their dreams or take the initial couple steps to start their music or start their business or make that move to another city. Or so I definitely have more release music towards the person who's kind of like figuring out what they want to do with their lives and what makes them happy, and then encouraging them to make movements towards that. So I've definitely seen lots of direct messages that's worked, and that makes me so happy because we are only on this earth for a short time, and I why not live it? You know, live like you were dying. And so I one day, you know, hopefully I can release something that is meaningful enough that would help somebody in a moment like you were describing. That would be amazing.
Well, exactly. And when talking about Live Like You Were Dying by Tim McGraw, talks about I went skydiving and you
Rocky
know,
Mountain climbing.
yeah. Why didn't you do that before? Why did you have to, suffer the loss of your dad before you went fishing? Why did you go Rocky Mountain climbing? Why did you soar like an eagle as he was flying. Why didn't you do that before? Why does a mention of that you're going to die or you have 4 months to live change your attitude towards life? Um, some of your music, you might eventually have someone say, listen, I was listening to Thirsty and it really helped me at a bad time, or Gotta Do um, really helped me, or the one lyric. But you got to live by lyrics. That's how I live. I live by
Yeah,
lyrics.
I've definitely, now you're saying that, I've gotten messages of people that said, I was having a bad day and I was just feeling down. And then I put your music on and I was feeling just better, like brighter, happier. And if my music can do that for somebody, that's amazing.
Yeah, and actually, the person that writes the song may not like the tune, and then somebody tells them that it helped them through something, and then they say, you know what, I like the tune after all because it helped someone. You know,
Right.
um, your song "Silver," I agree with Steven in this one. It makes you want to get up and dance, and the video version, those outfits were perfect. Uh, so, how did that one come to be?
Silver was based on a story that what was happening with my co-writer at the time, and she had just broken up with her boyfriend, and he was trying to have her settle down and live in a house in Georgia and be in a relationship. And she's like, listen, I'm a musician. I travel. I go on the road. You signed up for this relationship when I was gone. Like, she just kept saying all these things. And I was like, I really feel like this is what we need to write today. So we just went for it. And it says, you see diamonds, I see red, and all of that stuff. And he actually showed up to when the write was happening and drove up from Georgia like 8 hours. And we were like, oh gosh, we need to finish the bridge. So can you like step out for a second? We're in the middle of writing a song about you. But it was a very funny scenario. And I just really took to that song, even though it wasn't specifically my story. I've definitely been there, my story in that moment, but I've been there. And so I started performing it all the time. And then it ended up making the record.
Well, with Silver, Stephen meant that he loves the beat.
Yeah,
Um,
the beat is
he
swung,
said he meant
actually.
he loves the beat.
Dun,
So,
dun, 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 dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah, definitely like a swung, kind of makes you want to like groove a little bit like this.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. We're so happy that you're here. Um, so, what about other musicians? Are there any other musicians that you trained or you mentored, or somebody's come up to you and said, "I want to do what you're doing, Kirstie. How do I go about doing it?" What would be your advice to them?
Oh, I mean, Brooklyn Summer and I talk a lot. We met pretty much on Twitter, and now she's in and out of Nashville. And I, we've had conversations where I've just passed along anything I can about like working with people and just keeping your chin up. And now she's starting in her songwriting journey and her guitar journey, which is amazing. I love being able to lift each other up as artists, and I'm always there for my tour mates. If they have a question for me, I'm there. I'm going to be working with Crystal King coming up on her photo shoot for her album that's going to be coming out. And so I'm stepping in to just help her with poses, help her with looks, make sure that she's getting exactly what she wants at the photo shoot. So things like that. I mean, she's my friend, and so I'm going to be there no matter what. And I'm also a big fan of hers. So shout out to Crystal King. But I do stuff like that for my friends all the time. And if they ever have come to me for questions or run songs by me, I'm there to provide feedback or whatever they're looking for.
Well, maybe you can mention my podcast to them if they want to join us for a
Yes.
virtual platform like you. Sure, that'd be awesome.
Yes.
More guests, the better.
We need to take a
Thank
quick picture. So all right, geez. Both in our red hats today. Perfect.
This is awesome. Thank you very much. And when that song "Silver" made me think of Debbie Silver. Are you familiar with her?
I'm not. Is she in Canada?
Well, she's also a singer, but I kind of keep tabs on all these musicians because I want to know who's fresh out there. Because I stopped listening to people like Billy Joel and all that, but I want to get into the new stuff. Because you get people asking you, "Have you ever heard of such and such?" I can say, "Yes, I have." But if they say something like, "Have you ever heard of Morgana Smith's son?" I'm like, "No."
You like
Well,
new?
she's an opera singer. I'm like, "Oh, okay." But now I kind of look at everything so people can mention the name and say, "Oh yeah, I remember that song," because if this podcast has taught me anything, is to learn from everyone. I've learned a
Oh
lot
yeah.
from you and others. So,
Today
but
was really fun. I mean, some of the questions that you asked today, one, I've never been asked, and two, I feel like we are really giving somebody, like you said, a behind the scenes of how my brain works and in my job and what I do. And maybe even for people that don't do music, they're still learning, like you said. And this has
mhm.
been really cool. This has been awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. And people will actually see that little video intro of like three or four of your hits all strung together in 45 seconds.
I love it.
And make sure everyone that you subscribe to Kirstie's YouTube channel and you give her some
Yes,
love and let her know that she is wanted and
absolutely. I'd
get her
appreciate
music
that.
out there. You're very welcome. Uh, so are there any particular, like any other artists that you want to side with, like duet with, like for instance, maybe Reba McEntire or Paul Brandt, or who would be your ultimate dream to duet with?
I'm trying to think of a male. I really love Brett Eldridge as a vocalist, and being in the Christmas spirit right now, doing like a Christmas song, like an original Christmas song together, would make me very, very happy. Of course, I love Reba as well, and she's amazing. For me, your version of Reba is like a Miranda Lambert. To me, I'm a huge fan of Miranda. She's a writing badass, and being able to do anything kind of duet with her would be really fun as well.
Yeah, I think you could do it, and also maybe I would think that you could pair with, I won't say Miley Cyrus, but
I love
Leanne Rhymes,
Miley.
maybe.
I love Leanne Rhymes and Miley Cyrus. I was supposed to see actually Leanne Rhymes last night at the Ryman, and unfortunately, I'm, I'm like, yeah, sad, but she has a blood vessel in her vocal cord that burst, and so she
Mm.
had to move the concert to April. And so we were not at the Leanne Rhymes concert last night. I was at a different Christmas party, but I would have been at the Leanne Rhymes concert listening to her sing Christmas songs, and I would have probably been bawling the whole time because I was just enjoying it so much.
Another thing that has me bawling is also Celine Dion's. She had a diagnosis of stiff person syndrome.
I did hear
Um,
about that.
yeah, she's like I think it has something to do with her depression because of her death of her beloved husband Renee Angelil, and then I believe it was gee, I can't remember what his name was, but he's a celebrity. He reached out to her, became friends, but yeah, she has this whole video on Instagram that she was diagnosed with stiff person syndrome, which is like a neurological disease, and also my favorite Linda Ronstadt, like she can no longer sing. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's, I believe.
Oh,
So, and when I heard like Glenn Campbell was my favorite. When I heard what happened to him, Alzheimer's, I was like, listen to the music, but then at the same time, the person who sang this song can no longer sing it.
I know.
So,
It's
yeah,
it's definitely been a few years. I feel like of bad news and definitely learning leave or losing some of the greats. Um, but at the same time, when I guess the silver lining to that is when we do lose a great, it's all over the news, and then we can show our young people that they need to go and listen to these people and learn about them and hear their music.
Irene Cara is one of them who passed away just recently. What a
Who?
feeling! She passed away, yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of like, gonna listen to their music and then learn from them and get their advice, and then one day they're gone. It's sort of like It's sort of it's sad, but so now let's kind of do a little play thing here. So I'm in the audience listening to it. I don't like country music. I don't like any of your music. I don't like music myself. So I'm here in the audience because my friend had forced me to watch Kirstie Kraus. And I'm sitting there and I harass you. I throw a tomato at you, say, and I just do something. What what would you do if that happened, or an audience member looked tired or bored during your performance? What would you do to change all that?
Okay, a tomato throwing person would I'd probably just be like, "Hey, bouncer, take care of this," because I very much need a like want people to be in a positive environment, and
Mhm.
if they're acting out that much, then they need to not be. They would just be ruining the vibe of the energy of the room. But yeah, if they look bored, then I think one of the things that helps with a live performance is not only singing the songs, but talking and connecting with the audience and joking around with them and joking with the other person on stage, not just being robots up there playing the song. So more obviously like getting into the music when you're performing that is it helps anybody be more engaged with the song, but the in between banter and engaging them is gonna pull somebody in more than if they're not naturally a music listener.
So, what if you had family member or an audience? Do you try to perform better and make it look better than you have if they weren't in the audience, or do you play no matter? Let's say somebody you know or family members in the audience watching you perform. Do you perform like they weren't in the audience? Because some people seem to think, well, when I was singing a Josh Group band song once in a recital, and my brother and sister were in the audience, and my main fact, like if I look at them, I'm going to screw everything up. So I had to go like this, sing like this, around like this. If I look straight at them, I would just screw everything up. I would lose my concentration. Would that happen to you?
I always, no matter who's in the audience, I always perform to my best and put the and then, yeah. I was just gonna say, Mom, you can tune in and help with this question because I know she's watching. I'm always performing at my best, no matter if there's 4 people or 75 people or thousands in the audience. There are, however, I remember I performed at a festival called Atwood Fest in my hometown, and my sister was there. And I was going to surprise her and perform a song that she's never heard me perform. She's never even heard the full work tape. And this song was all about her and our relationship. And I'm getting emotional talking about it because it was just such a special moment. And I was on stage singing the song, and I was trying not to get emotional. So I could not look at her directly while I was singing the song. So like that's definitely happened.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest that if your mother or whoever's in the audience or anybody singing to actually look right at them. But at the same time, you never know if it's going to be a record producer in the audience who that's your that's your moment.
Yeah.
You don't know at the very end. Oh, by the way, this is such and such, and so oh, I saw you in the audience. I was wondering why you're looking at me like that or whatever. You just never know. And your mom's right. I guess Lori's your mom.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's right. You never know who is in the audience. You have to
Yeah.
have that mindset that you're going to be playing to an audience. You're going to get people throwing tomatoes. You're going to get people harassing you. You're going to get people, and you think the person that stands up and starts clapping and yelling and say "Kirstie" is like a family member, you know. And but also it's sort of like before I sing, could you please just sit there and just watch and pretend that I don't know you? Because the moment I see you, is I'm going to screw everything up. And
Yeah.
it always happens.
You know, that's the thing about a live performance is like there's different people in the audience. There's people who want to request crazy stuff. There's little kids that want to talk to you while you're on stage sometimes. Like but that's the beauty about it, is you need to be able, as a musician and doing this professionally, be able to juggle all of that. That's part of it. And sometimes the only way to really know what to do in that moment is just to put yourself in that moment, and just know that from the minute you walk into a venue, you are working. This is your workspace. To other people it looks like a fun space, but this, and you're having fun, but this is still your work. I
Yeah,
take my
and
job very seriously.
oh yeah, you have to. If you're going to be singing, you're going to make sure that your mindset is focused, and you like don't do what I did. Like once it took me a week to learn a song, and I sang it at a church, about 80, maybe 90 people in the church, and I couldn't remember the lyrics, and I'm like, I could
uh,
sing this with
and
my
it
eyes closed
happens.
in the
It
bathroom,
happens.
and now in front of people performing this, and I can't remember what
Yeah, it happens to all of us. And like, as much as I love performing, I love the people aspect of the job. And to just throw this at you and express my gratitude. I want to thank you so much for just being able to connect, and we found a time to get this done and be on this interview together. And I just absolutely have extremely enjoyed this. As much as I love performing, like I said, I love the people aspect and talking to the people and just having fun.
Thank you, Stephen. I really appreciate that. You know, comments like that make me just want to keep going.
You should keep going. This was I second that. I had a blast today.
Thank you very much. I mentioned to, I'm not going to give his name because I know he might be watching this, but I told him who I'd like to have on my podcast, and he said, you know what? You're never going to get them. Just shut it down right now. Stop doing your podcast. This has never happened. And I'm like, how do you know? I've had strange things and weird things happen in my life that people would say, how did that happen? So, you know, you
If
never
I
know.
had that mindset, then I wouldn't be able to succeed in what I do. Like, you have to just believe. And when naysayers, is what I call them, when naysayers come into play and they are expressing their negative opinions, you literally tune them completely out, and let them find their own path. Let them focus on them, and you focus on you, and you don't flip them the bird based on my song. And you just focus on the positive, focus on where you're going, and keep putting feelers out there of whatever guests you want, and maybe they'll say yes.
I really appreciate that. Thank you for that comment. I want to mention little little secret here. I know it's going out live, and who knows who's going to be watching this. I can't edit this, so I'm going to tell you. Um, I dated a girl who was a singer, and she heard me sing, and she said, "Don't give up your day job." I didn't sing for 10 years because of that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't let
She
those
had no
people get to
confidence
you.
in me at all. I can't believe I stayed in that relationship for so long.
Someone literally just said a mean comment when I was TikTok live yesterday or the day before practicing
Oh,
for my show. Said a mean comment, and then people were like commenting like, "Dude, why are you taking the time to write such hate? Like, just leave the live stream." You know what I mean? And like, your music and everybody's music is not for everybody, and that's what you have to remember. Like, my music is not for everybody, but it's for me, and that's important. Like, I love and can stand behind what I put out there, and the people that do like it are here for it. So yeah, I wish I could have said all this to you when she said that. You know what I mean? And then you didn't not do music for 10 years.
no. But then the girl I met later was a flautist, and we did duets together, and she was able to introduce me to this. It was so like Backstreet Boys, sort of, but for older adults. So we were singing for years, and that really turned me around. I'm thinking, well, someone's going to say, don't do this, and you're not going to do it, but someone's going to come along and say, you better do it because I can do it too, and we're going to do it together. And it changed my whole life. So now I'm taking
Yeah.
vocal lessons. Now, during the pandemic, nobody, like I said before, it hit opera singers, but nobody could really perform because of social distancing, so they did everything online and stuff like that. I want to also mention years ago I was part of a men's vocal group, and we went into old folks' home. You're talking about writing songs that have an emotional impact. How about singing to in a nursing home where the people don't even have anybody to come and visit them, and you could sing lullabies to them or whatever, and they'll just cry because nobody's ever sung to them. So it goes that way too. Not only do you feel the emotions that you do with your singing and your being a lyricist or music, but also someone out there who's been lonely for the longest time. Um,
Hearing some comforting words. Yeah,
yeah, so you got not
absolutely.
only you get tomato throwers and you get people who write mean comments. Don't let that say, you know what? It looks like that Kirstie Kraus is going to come to an end, and then boom, you're done. But no, don't let that happen. Just if you're soaring and something bad happens, like the wind pushes you down, then go higher and soar higher, and don't let anybody bring you down. Which brings me
Amen.
to the next. Which brings me to the question where, what do you
Oh,
see
can
yourself?
we do one more? Can this be the last one? I just have to get some lunch and then get on camera in a little bit. So let's do one more and then we'll have to wrap it up. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
sure. Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what social things are you interested in? Like Greta Thunberg and
Okay, for fun, this is the month of December, so I am going to the Gaylord Opry Convention Center. I'm walking around looking at Christmas lights. I love going to Christmas shows. I went to downtown Franklin, the 32nd annual Dickens Christmas Party festival. So I love going to festivals. I love just taking in all the Christmas stuff. That's pretty much, I like Netflix. I like going hiking and yoga and meditating, just going for walks with my friends. Tonight I go to a birthday dinner for a dear friend of mine that's I've known for 4 years. So yeah, they're normal things.
sounds good. So, last questions, everyone. I want to send just one more question before we end this stream.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, doesn't look like it. All right then. So, thank you very much, Kirstie. We really appreciate this. So happy that you're on our podcast today, and really enjoyed the interview. Thank you that your mom and your friend Stephen was there watching. Really appreciate that. And may you have success and hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you. I'm going to be
So,
doing a push and sharing this on social media. And Chris, I want to tip my red hat to you because today has been so much fun and we've got into in depth in ways that I haven't in interviews, and that was really really cool. And if I ever get up to Canada, I am going to reach out to you, and vice versa. When
yeah.
you come to Nashville, you let me know.
Yes, because I got my Christmas song I'm still trying to write. Maybe you can help me finish it.
Okay, all right. Sounds
So
like
before
it.
we go ahead.
No,
Before
that
we,
sounds like I love a Christmas song. So
yeah. Okay, I know I shouldn't be asking you this, but let's say goodbye. We'll say yeehaw in
okay,
unison. You ready?
all right.
1, 2, 3. Yee!
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw! I love it. Thanks, Kirstie.
All
So
right.
let me end this podcast before you leave. And okay,
And
everyone.
happy holidays, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? On the beach, sand is glistening. A beautiful sight, we're happy tonight. Walking in a tropic wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird. Here to stay are the snowbirds. We'll sing a love song as we go along, walking in a tropic wonderland. By the ocean we can build a sandman, then pretend that he is Parson Brown. He'll say, are you married? We'll say, no man, but you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll perspire as we dream by the fire. So face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a tropic wonderland. By the ocean we can build a Sandman and pretend that he's a circus clown. We'll have lots of fun with Mr. Sandman until the other kitties knock him down. When it's windy, ain't it thrilling? When we're surfing and a-chillin', we'll frolic and play the Kokomo way, walking in a tropic wonderland. Oh yeah, walking in a tropic wonderland. Big finish, walking in a tropic wonderland.